Welcome to WP Coffee Talk. Thank you to our sponsor, Helix Managed WordPress Hosting, for both their sponsorship and hosting our site, WPCoffeeTalk.com. Now on to our episode. Welcome to another WP Coffee Talk podcast. Today I am speaking internationally. It's noon here and it's dinner time for you. But I'd like to introduce my audience to Birgit Olzem. And Birgit, you are in Germany?
Yes.
That's right. And you speak German much better than I speak English, probably. But we're gonna have fun today talking to you. So I can't wait to learn more about you. So please introduce yourself. Tell a little bit about what you do with WordPress.
Thank you very much, Michelle, for having me on your show. And yeah, as you told, my name is Birgit, and most people in the WordPress community know me under my nickname Coach Birgit. And I'm a long-term contributor to the WordPress project. And yeah, on daily basis, I have several projects I do with WordPress. But in the meantime, I'm a mom of 5 children.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, 2 teenager and 3 grown up. So, and I'm a grandma of a 1-year-old boy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. What's his name?
Kilian. It's more
great.
a Nordic name, but pretty cute.
Oh, for sure.
A grandma, so.
I'm sure you're in love with him.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So what do you do with WordPress?
My main business is consulting and training. I train clients how to use WordPress, and I serve as a consultant in project when people want to start with WordPress, but I specialized into training for WordPress. But since this year, I'm trying to shift a little bit and bring on to my second passion. It's about empowerment women. Mm-hmm. And I founded an academy for female entrepreneurs where I will serve some e-courses and something like that. So, but it's in the early stages, so it's a side project.
Well, I can't wait to see it. You'll have to share the link with me when you've got it developed. That's exciting.
It's currently some blog posts, and so it's open, but I have to invest more time to prepare the courses, to record my videos, and so on. So
that's wonderful. I love women empowerment, especially in a masculine field like ours is. So finding more and more women as developers, as users, designers, just in the space at all, I think is wonderful. And I think you probably have too, over the last 5 years, there's been a real shift to have more women involved in the community.
Absolutely. And I love to encourage also the women I meet, especially in public speaking, and even if you're not high educated, but you're a mom like me, so you can make an impact into such a project, but also use WordPress for your business on your kitchen table. Yeah. So that's, and to be more vocal about what you are doing with WordPress. And that's why I love your idea about this show. To have another perspective, what you can do with WordPress, even when you're not that popular person or a deep core developer. And so there's a wide range to do some great stuff with WordPress. And that's why I try to empower more female to contribute and work and make a living with WordPress.
That's wonderful. It's very inspirational. I think as a mother of 5 and a grandmother, you probably can attest most to how flexible you can be with your schedule with WordPress.
Exactly.
So you don't have to go to an office from 8 to 5 every day. You can set your own schedule.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm decided to go full self-employed last year. So that's a big stretch
Yeah.
because you have to take care about the health issue, health insurance and social insurance and so.
Yeah.
But yeah, thankfully I'm in a good, stable relationship, and my partner is supporting me a lot, so it makes it easier. But some years I had some time when I was single mom, when I broke up with the father of my 5 children, and it was a rough time. But now it's going forward. Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's great seeing your smiling face today, for sure. So every person that comes on the show, because it's Coffee Talk, I ask them to show me the mug that they have. So let's see your mug.
Yes, my mug is one of my favorite.
Ah.
It's from the WordCamp Berlin. This one is from 2015. And I have a special connection to that, not only because the bear is really awesome.
It is.
I love it. But also, WordCamp Berlin was my first WordCamp ever in 2010.
Okay.
Then when I was in 2015, I was there also. And I attended to several WordCamps in Germany, but also international camps. And now this year, WordCamp Europe is hosted in Berlin. And that's pretty awesome to see that my starting WordCamp and now the biggest one of the WordCamp ever is hosted in Berlin. So pretty well connected.
That's wonderful. I actually have the WAPU pin that's on your mug that was gifted to me by somebody in the WordPress community.
Yeah.
It's on my board.
Maybe from Carol or Robert, because they are also WAPU ambassadors.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have my mug today. Says, an attitude is a terrible thing to waste.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm drinking coffee. What's in your mug?
In my mug is organic green tea with ginger and citrus.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yes, it's pretty good, especially in the evening to calm down and yeah.
Exactly. That's
because
wonderful.
Coffee would be not that so nice, even if I want to stay awake.
not at 6 o'clock in the evening. No. Yeah. So tell us, how did you get involved with WordPress?
Oh, it's a way back story. When we got internet in 2000, and I was mostly alone because my husband, now ex-husband, was as a truck driver on the road the whole week. I needed to find some kind of hobby, and I started to learn how to create websites with HTML, CSS, and I was experimenting with dynamic content. I was tired of building frame set and new website, new HTML web pages. So I came into some PHP system, and I was in some user groups, and I experimented with WPCoffeeTalk and such other systems. And then I found in a user group the information about that WPCoffeeTalk isn't supported anymore and maintained anymore, and there's a new thing, WordPress, fresh launched. Okay, I'm a very curious person. It's a very female attitude, but yeah, and I was trying to experiment, and I fell in love relative fast. But I wanted to build websites, not blogs. So I experimented, and then I took it away a little bit and experimented with Drupal, Joomla, etc. And when WordPress released the pages and the custom menus, that was the point when I started to build every website with WordPress. So yeah, long time ago. Yeah, and yeah, but involved into the community was starting in 2012. So
that's wonderful. I love that you said you fell in love with WordPress. That's exactly how I say. I always say I fell in love with WordPress.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, and I think that's also probably a female thing to say it that way.
Yeah, I guess because we are more feeling addicted and vocal about feelings.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's not the system itself, but also the community around, which
Absolutely.
over the years, and that's what makes it easy to stay in love with WordPress.
I
Not
agree.
every time, some hard times in between, but that's okay. That's growing pain. It's
Absolutely.
like raising children.
That's a great analogy. I love that. That's good. So you are somebody who's seen hundreds and thousands of websites, and I've seen hundreds and thousands of websites as well. And so I always think there's things that I think frequently people forget to use or don't know to use, that might make their website better. So if you could think of one thing that you think people maybe do wrong or don't quite do right on building websites, maybe specifically WordPress, but in general, what would you say that people should focus more on or include?
I would say to make sure of having a clear user path. It's something I have to make myself, to remind myself always as well, to develop a really way of how they get to their goal and direction. If you want to sell something, you want that they have the chance to buy, and having also a responsive website. I'm a lot of the hours of my day on my smartphone, and so I would like to navigate through the website without going in desktop mode and so on. So yeah, it's
And really, that both of those things have to do with having the site visitor, the user in mind.
Yeah, exactly.
So that people have an understanding of what to do once they arrive at your site.
That's the point why I don't like to develop websites for clients in a bigger way. I have some small company clients or some entrepreneurs with some kind of presentation where I have not to put any information into it. That's like a business card. But I think on my own websites I have to do more in that as well. So.
I think we all do. Absolutely. What is something that you wish you had known when you started working with WordPress that you've learned over time that might have made your life a little bit easier early on?
Go more deep into MVP, to go like, how can I create a project from scratch, to learn more about the structure and more about the engineering, the process, when I would like to build a plugin or something like that, because everything is self-taught and trial and error over the several years. And I would like to have more knowledge about PHP and especially JavaScript now. When the Gutenberg or the block editor came out, I quit it to develop because JavaScript was too mind-blowing for me at that moment. So maybe sometime.
I have confidence in you. When you think about the WordCamps and meetups that you might have attended over the years, what are some of the things, or is there one moment that is just brings you pride, or you think that was really enlightening, or just something that's, a moment from WordCamp that just really defined things for you?
Wow, there is a big collection of great moments on every WordCamp, and some really moment which was let me say, had a bigger impact was last year at WordCamp US on the Q&A with Matt, when I went to the microphone and asked a question about the funding of contributors, which high volume, who are not covered or sponsored by employers or something. And the answer from Matt was a little bit, yeah, he didn't find the right words at that moment. And the awareness about the situation was for me very impressive. That this simple question had a bright, wide impact into the thoughts of other people. So, because it's a problem in the open source communities, not only WordPress, to support high volume contributors. So, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, I thought you were going to say that you are one of the co-organizers of WordCamp Europe. So that's pretty impressive to the rest of us as well. Talk a little bit about what's coming up on. By the time this show is on the air, WordCamp Europe will already be history, but that's okay. Tell us a little bit about, so you can actually tell all the secrets, because nobody will know. It's already be past there.
No. No, I committed to keep the secret.
I'm just teasing. But tell a little bit about organizing such a big camp, and give us a little bit of insight into how you feel about it.
It's very impressive. I was part of the organizing team last year in Belgrade as well. That was my role, to be in a community team. We build up the contributing area during the conferences days, and so that was pretty awesome. But this year I'm part of the local team, so we have to make sure that everything on local base is running smoothly. And under my umbrella is a childcare organization, the kids workshop, and the food menus for the social event. So it's yeah, there are a lot of responsibilities for an organizing team. It's a big way, but it is really impressive to see how talented and involved and committed are the rest of the team, especially the communication team, where permanently writing content to provide such great information for the attendees, but also the attendee service team. It's awesome to see how the gears are running together. So because we are a team from about 65 people, an organizing team, so it's awesome. So
this is my first year as an organizer for WordCamp US. And I think we have around 55 organizers, and I'm on the PR comms team. So I'm the one writing a lot of content for US and working on the Twitter and things like that. And my first day of starting to do that, I was like, am I really allowed to log into this website? Can I really tweet from this Twitter account? So it is very awe-inspiring and overwhelming.
Yeah.
But the fact that the team is amazing. So yeah, so much love to you about being part of that amazing organization. One day I hope to come to WordCamp Europe. So hopefully I'll see you there.
It will be awesome. Yeah,
for sure.
But I, when you told me about the feeling to, am I allowed to do that? This reminds me on my feelings when I logged the first time into the WordPress.org local site to release a new localized version of WordPress. In 2012, I started to translate WordPress in German during my contract with Insight, and then I've grown into the release manager role, and to publish a localized WordPress version, we had at that moment we needed to merge the translations files with the core files and have to rebuild in the version. And it was really scary moments when I hit the release button and, you know, several 100,000 pages get this update neck, and yeah, impressive. So I can totally feel with you.
I've told my story of how I got into WordPress many times, and the short version is my friend and I were developing a nonprofit organization, and her husband was in WordPress, and so he built a website for us, and we thought we were going to send him all the content, but he said, okay, here's the site, here's your login, you put the content in. And the first time I logged in, I was like, I know I'm going to break this somehow. But within about 10 minutes, I fell in love as well. So there is that fear at first. And I think that's something that's hard to overcome at first. And so when you teach people WordPress, how do you approach that with them?
With small steps. Especially the first part is to listen to their fears and explain a little bit on paper with pen and paper about the structure and what they want to accomplish with this website. And during this listen and talk and exploring their needs, they get more confident when I say and show them later on how they can accomplish that. And when they get the mouth in their own hand to move on their own website, they gain more confidence very quickly. So, but but you have some safety body with you when you have a trainer, and so it helps a lot.
We call that the buddy system here.
Yeah, exactly. And so I encouraged the trainees also to take notes, to write down what they want to accomplish and how to find the way, so that I make myself not deep connected to it, so that they find their way alone without me afterwards.
So they're not dependent on you then.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good. So you've been doing WordPress training for a number of years, correct?
Yes.
So I have done a lot of WordPress training as well. And then I thought, I'm going to do another course this summer. Oh man, now I have to teach blocks, the block editor. How did that impact your courses and things when all of a sudden things were very much different with WordPress?
At first, when they got introduced, it was a hard time for me. So I stopped promoting my trainings. And I had several other freelancing contracts where I can earn my money with. But I'm not that big fan currently because I'm not too much involved into it. I don't know why. I can't explain. It's a great idea. And the big vision, I totally see it coming. So because it's okay. But I'm a big fan of the Elementor page builder. So because I can accomplish more with that. Especially when you go to business websites and want to build some fancy user path and stories, etc. It's not that easy with the current blog editor. I guess in some steps later, but not currently. So
it's still evolving.
Yeah, definitely. And so I'm not against to it, but I'm not so used to it. So I'm always honest also to my clients. And so,
I am very much into the Divi Builder. So just like you're into Elementor. And so I also was very, very happy that there was the classic editor that you could install that made things less apprehensive, and that it wasn't all of a sudden very different. But I will say that being on an organizing team for a WordCamp, you learn to use Gutenberg very quickly.
Yeah, I guess. So I'm currently not that person that logs often into the website because I have other responsibilities. But I try to move myself into it more Yeah, but
I have a new employee and he's learning WordPress. And so I was looking at my bookshelf yesterday and I pulled books off the shelf. I said, I have these how to use WordPress books. If you'd like to take them, you can have them. He said, do they have Gutenberg? I said, never mind. So yeah, so all those books now need to be rewritten as well.
Yeah. I was asked to write a book about WordPress and do another DVD training with WordPress. My first DVD training, it was published in a renowned publishing house, was WordPress 4.5.
Okay.
4.0, because I had to alter the footer version number during the recording of the screencast and record on the beta version because the time frame was so stuck. So yeah, but it's a long time ago. But today I should do more video trainings again and record more trainings so I get used to Gutenberg maybe. But it's currently not on my priority list.
Yeah, no, and that's important to make sure that you have your priorities in the right order so that you can move forward in the right way too.
Yeah.
So how do you, being a mother, and you told me a grandmother, right? So how do you balance all that you're doing? So you have your own business, you have WordCamp organizing for Europe, which is coming up very quickly. And then you also have, life.
Yeah. I always try to divide my day into different blocks. So I can build on my projects in the morning. And since my two youngest children are every second week with my ex-husband in the house, so I have 1 week kids-free zone at home. So, but they are also in the school in the morning, so they are not so small anymore. But so I can manage my day and my schedule relative good. And I have some days like Wednesday is my contributing day with several meetings. Like I'm a team representative of the German marketing team, and so I have to tune into that also and finding ways to manage some stuff. And and it depends on the workload of my freelancing, how many time I have. But I managed to find some balance into writing, journaling, reading, listening to audiobooks, sitting on my terrace and enjoy the birds fluttering around in the trees, or having a good cup of coffee in the cafe, and just watching the people going by. So yeah, but I learned it in a hard way because during several years and some really hard trauma in my family, with my mom died, my best friend died, I had a divorce and hard times, and so I had over 7 years living in a survival mode. And I coped my grief and my feelings with more work instead of working on my feelings. So my body was collapsing. So 2 years ago, the first time, and at the beginning of this year again, which such big pain and issues. And so I learned the hard way to more self-care. So especially being a mom is very difficult to maintain a self-care rhythm, because every day is different. But yeah.
And I think you've really hit the nail on the head with that. I think that self-care is something that in the WordPress community that we need to stress more.
Yeah.
There are mental health issues in every field, but I think that what I've read and what I've seen in the tech fields, especially people who are freelancing and working alone a lot of the time, that mental health issues are more prevalent. And so we need to do better at reaching out to each other and making sure that everybody is happy and grounded and supported.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I love the initiative of WPN.
Me too.
I run some workshops on local WordCamps, but also on WordCamp Nijmegen about mental health, where we had some kind of, it's more like a group training, not really training, but in a closed room where the people, a private room where they can share their experiences and about mental health. And I love that the WordPress community and especially also the WordCamp organizers are more open now to these topics. Not only the core development, but also the self-development. Mm-hmm. It's also important. And when I would say the most important part, the self-development, to make sure, because only when your glass is full, you can move on and not with an empty glass. And
exactly.
That's because on my own experience, I know the hard way, but I know also the way to come over it. I was initially trained as a life coach, so that's for me is easier to have the techniques, but it's also to share the information, how to come over that and how to develop resilience. And with resilience, you can move forward.
That's good lessons for sure. I appreciate your input on that for sure. If you're okay with it, I want to move into my rapid fire questions.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, we'll change gears a little bit. So when you think about the websites that you build, and I know that you're a developer. I'm not a developer, so I rely on plugins as opposed to writing my own code. But what are 2 or 3 what you think are must-have plugins or really good plugins for somebody who's building their own website to be able to use?
The first is a better search and replace, especially if you are developing a website which is on HTTP and not under HTTPS. So you can replace it really quickly. Then on SEO base, it's the one plugin I always use is Yoast SEO because it's very helpful also for clients with the helping tools. And of course, having some kind of page builder if you want to move more than, and learning management systems. I'm currently experimenting with those.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. So to create courses and memberships and so on. Yeah. But it's not that must have for every site.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Right. Exactly. So it depends on the goal of the site.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. What is one of the biggest WordPress mistakes that you've made, and what did you learn from it?
Oh, I messed up a release version for WordPress in German because there was an error in the merging process of the language file. So we have always a 4i principle, though someone else in the community helps and checked, but there was some issue with the origin release from WordPress, and I had to rebuild it. And I was sweating over 10 minutes. But yeah, sometimes it's helpful to be more patient when it's going to be released something in the public. Let's make sure that everything is really running before you hit the release button. Yeah. but nothing serious was happening. But yeah,
it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
It's not only one website you are messing up. So yeah.
If it was just yours, that's one thing, but when it's everybody.
Yeah. And when you imagine WordPress in German is the second non-English, we have 5.5%.
Wow.
After Japanese was 5.8%. So
wow. Well, I'm glad you got it fixed.
Yeah.
What is your proudest WordPress moment?
Oh yeah. Yeah, my proudest also, yeah, to be over several years locale manager for the WordPress.org. So the responsibility which comes with it, but also to be able to have such big impact to this project and help to grow WordPress. Yeah.
That's wonderful. If you didn't work in web, what is a career that you might like to attempt?
First, criminal investigation. I wanted to be a policewoman in my early years. Yeah, currently it's more going into a naturopath way to help people more to overcome chronic issues. So I'm currently studying naturopath, so
yeah. In your free time?
Yes.
Like you
it's
have
a long process because my partner is a physiotherapist. So he's massaging and doing physical training, and he's also aiming to go into that. So
wonderful.
Yeah, and it's more it's an extension of my life coaching. So
that's wonderful. What is something on your bucket list?
To have a hike on in Nepal.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. Not Mount Everest though.
Yeah, it's currently a little bit difficult because I have to learn again to walk again. So due to some serious health issues on my hips. But yeah, it's on my bucket list.
That's
once
wonderful.
in my life.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I can't wait to see the pictures.
Yeah, me neither.
And then either show us or tell us about one of your hidden talents.
I'm kind of energetic healer. When I was in a good phase of my body system, I have the ability to transfer energy and more be in a channel for the energy and help people to fill up again with energy.
Like Reiki?
Yeah, exactly.
That's wonderful.
Are you? I have magic hands.
Magic. I'm a Reiki level 2 practitioner.
Awesome.
And I'm assuming you're probably like a Reiki master.
Awesome.
That's wonderful. Fantastic. It's been a pleasure to talk to you today. Tell us how people can find you online. So
always under my nickname, Coach Birgit, and in one word.
So Twitter would be Coach Birgit.
Yeah.
And your website.
Also coachbirgit.com.
There you go.
My entrepreneur, my new project is femalepress.com.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. It has been a pleasure to talk to you today. I know that our paths have crossed before, but not to the point where we have had an opportunity to have a conversation. So I can't wait to someday see you in person again and give you a huge hug, because I think you're doing amazing work, and I just appreciate everything that you do for WordPress. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you also. Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks for being on the show. And let's say goodbye to our adoring audience.
Bye.
We'll see you next time. That's right. Have a cup. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.